entrepreneur who feels stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure how to move forward? The Life Coaching for Business Builders program helps you harness your inner power, build your authentic platform, and chart a clear path to business success. You don't have to do this alone. Together, we'll create strategies, structure, and accountability to help you boss up in life and business. It's time to claim your power and make your business dreams a reality. Hello and welcome to Boss Business Strategies Talk Show, the premier talk show for entrepreneurs looking to scale to their first $1 million, where I bring you front and center to the blueprint behind the brand, straight from the millionaire entrepreneurs themselves. I am your host, Dr. Marcia, physician, life and business coach, and radio personality, and I help female entrepreneurs who are navigating the business building process to harness the power of their story, build an authentic platform, and chart a clear path to business success. It's all about the platform, it's all about the power, and it's all about the pathway. And so today I am beyond excited to welcome a powerhouse who's done just that, Dr. Lenika Scott, also known as the Millionaire Mom. She is a powerhouse of faith, finance, and generational impact. As a kingdom entrepreneur, a best-selling author, and prophetic voice, she is the first African American in her company, which is direct sales, to reach the highest rank, helping thousands of women and men build wealth while breaking generational curses. She's a mother of six. I said six. And she has built multiple seven-figure businesses, teaching others how to unlock the supernatural in the marketplace through faith-based wealth strategies. She's also the founder of Lenika Scott Network, a dynamic community designed to help entrepreneurs thrive spiritually and financially. As a speaker, a mentor, and a business coach, her mission is to help women walk boldly in their calling, multiply their money, and live a life of abundance without apology. And so, with a message that blends anointing with action, Dr. Lenika is proof that you can build an empire, you can raise a family, and you can honor your faith all at the same time. Welcome, Dr. Lenika, to the stage. How are you?
Hello, I am great. Dr. Marcia, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic. It is so great to sit down with you. And I want you to comment because I may have gotten part of that intro wrong as far as being the first African American in direct sales in your company. Can you just make sure I got that right and just say, just kind of just set me straight if you can?
No, it's okay. It is okay. So the company that we are currently in, that was correct. My husband and I are one of the highest paid top earners in the United States in our company who are African American. So that's right.
Okay, so first of all, I want to congratulate you because that is amazing. That is a big deal. And we're going to kind of dive into that a little bit, in a few minutes. But I wanted to just kind of start us off with you're called the Millionaire Mom. And I mean, that's a whole branding masterclass right there. But if you could just share with us what's the story behind that
Right.
title? And when did you realize that you were actually shifting into what I'm going to call millionaire
Yeah.
territory?
Yeah. So the name, the Millionaire Mom, came about in 2009. And it came about before I had even hit millionaire status. There was a visitation, I will say, I had with the Lord, and He began to show me that there was a millionaire mantle on my life. And this was during a time when I had just stepped out on faith. I left corporate America. I was home with two of my children at the time, who were my youngest children. And He began to show me that there was great wealth for you. So I saw myself there before there became a reality. And so it was in 2009. I had like a $55,000 month. It was awesome. It was amazing. Like the feeling just was just everything. And during that time, I started to call myself the Millionaire Mom. So again, that was 2009. And so that's a little bit of about how the story came into place. And so I started to speak it out loud and again call myself that before I became her.
You know what? We could stop the show right there because because that gem right there, I think, is the first step where you can call
Yeah.
it manifestation, you can call it believe, you can call it whatever. What do you call it?
Yeah. Seeing it before you see it, right?
All right. So I love that. And so I'm going to adopt that practice myself. And you definitely do have to see it before you see it, so that you have someplace, a target in order
Right.
to get to. But I also heard you say God had already spoken it to you.
Yes. Yes, he did. So I had what is called this divine interrupt. I like to call them pivotal moments in a person's life, their walk, and their journey. And it was a day I was home by myself. The Lord, there was a nudge for me to turn on Christian Network. And right at the time that I turned it on, there was a woman on being videoed and interviewed about her journey to millionaire status. And she also was a mom. She had 5 children. And as she was talking, it was like I could feel the Lord presence come in the room and said, the same mantle that is on her life is on your life, Lenika. And it was such an encounter. It literally pushed me to my knees. My daughters are, they're young, right? The baby, they're looking at me like, oh God, is mom okay? And I could feel it. It was like something around me began to change. The atmosphere around me began to change. And on that day, again, is what I call them divine interrupts. Something changed in me. Something was unlocked. And it was at that moment, and this would take me through years of hardship. I knew that I was destined for wealth. I knew that I was destined for greatness. And I knew that there would be great impact financially, that is, that would come from me because of that encounter. Yeah.
That's so good. And I heard you say the years of struggle, years of
Yes.
hardship. Can you
Yes.
kind of walk us through kind of what were some of the early challenges that you faced as a mom trying to build a seven-figure business?
Yeah. So for one, it just even as a stay-at-home mom who oftentimes feel like there is no identity outside of the children, the home, the husband, right? The cooking and cleaning, the tending to the home and all of that. So emotionally, there was some things, that I had to endure. But then also financially, because my husband and I, we got married very young. I met him when I was 18. We got married in our young 20s. Even when I look back, I'm like, girl, like I was a baby, right? Getting married. And so we saw just about every financial strain known to man: WIC, food stamps, bankruptcy, foreclosure, robbing Peter to pay Paul. So there certainly was some financial struggles. But one of the ones that I really oftentimes will lean into is when we were building a business, me in particularly, because my husband at that time was working and the business was going really good. And we had generated like a 500,000 in a short period of time. And that's a 500,000 in income in a short period of time. And then the company that we were partnered with, that we were building our wealth through at that time, it crashed and it really affected our business. The infrastructure wasn't there. And so as soon as we went up, we went down fast. And it was during that time and during that season when we really were hit hard, but we had to learn how to really lean into the skill set that we had developed, the talent, right? But then also stand on God's word and God's promises for our life. And if he said that there was a millionaire mantle, then it was so. And so even when we didn't see the money in the bank, even when the bill collectors was knocking on our door or calling us, right, we still had to do what we knew to do, and that is go to work. And during the time, and see, this is where a lot of things, or shall I say, this is where a lot of times this will separate people from whether they are going to continue to go up, continue to elevate, to continue to see financial change or not. Because oftentimes when it gets really tough, people will quit because of their feelings and their emotions. And during those hard times, those are not times then you can get emotional, but you cannot stay emotional. And during the time when we saw things being lost, us having to move after we had moved into beautiful neighborhoods, right? Like we had to really just lean into what we knew. And that was our work ethic and our skill set. And it was during that time that I personally came up with this quote that says, don't allow your down place to define you. Focus on the promise and not the pain. Because as you focus on the pain, that is what is going to be attracted to you as you're trying to build anything. But as you focus on the promise, that is what is going to be attracted to you. So during the times of hardship and adversity, we had to focus on the promise, which was also our vision. And our vision was this: we will leave an inheritance and not a bill. We're going to leave a legacy and not a bill. So though it looked like it may not be happening right now, though it looked like we ain't leaving nothing, we're not leaving jack, we still have to focus on the vision that was in our hearts, because it is the vision that begins to create the daily habits and also the daily disciplines for the wealth to be released, for the breakthrough to happen, for those chains to also break off. And again, many times people get stuck in the hardship, the wilderness, the down place, and they will begin to stop, cave in, or even unfortunately quit before they're crossing over to that place of financial freedom or even success. And so for us, that down place didn't come as it wasn't a place, right, for us to get stuck in, but it was also a testing ground. There is no millionaire, multimillionaire, or billionaire that I have met that didn't have to endure hardships, tests, trials, adversities, great loss, wilderness moments. There's none at all that I've met. You will always hear them say, at this point in my life, though maybe the IRS was on my back, maybe, things were being taken from them, real estate investments, deals not panning out, things lost, but you will see them be able to bounce back. You will see them be able to come back, and you will see something that I like to say that I know that is resting upon me, and that is resilience, the ability to be able to bounce back. So any successful individual that you will ever met, anyone who has ever been able to break through barriers so that they can see the tangible manifestations and even the tangible success come to fruition where they can tangibly taste it, touch it, feel it. They all had to go through some type of major wilderness moment in order for them to have a major comeback.
I love it. I love it. You have dropped some nuggets, some wisdom, some power already. And one of the things that you said is you talked about the daily habits.
Yes.
What are some of those daily habits that lead to millionaire status?
Yes. It's so interesting. We did a call actually with our team today. And one of the things that my husband closed the call with, he was like, guys, stop looking at this and trying to build everything out now and big, right? And this doesn't mean we don't stretch. It doesn't mean we don't go for the big. You need it. But we're talking about daily things where you are carving out uninterrupted time, be it 1 hour to 5 hours, because this is something that we also teach. You work your 9 to 5, but you work your, to take care like your normal things, but your 5 to 9, that is what's going to help you build your legacy. So during those moments, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or 5 hours, where it is uninterrupted time, no distractions, head down, focus on what it is that I am building. Now, businesses require what? Customers. So then that means, like, how are you getting your customers? Be it through marketing, advertising, lead generation, one-on-one, meeting face-to-face, Zoom meetings, wherever it is, however it is. That's one of the main things that you're focusing on during those times. And then, of course, a way to what? Retention. So not only are you just getting one-offs, right? One person doing business with you, but also repeat business, which is why, too, this is why I love the industry that we are a part of, because there's much retention and also repeat business. Some of the daily deliverables or activities that we personally focus on: one, presentations, presenting what we're offering, presenting what we're selling. So that's one of the things that you have to focus on for the business builders out here. However you choose to present, meaning eyeballs in front of what it is that you have to offer. How are you doing that? So we're doing it on a daily basis, and then also following up. Okay. Following up with those individuals who have seen what it is that we have, who see what it is that you have, the getting them into your pipeline, getting them into your funnels, or getting them again in front of what it is that you have and what it is that you presenting, so that you can get, of course, the yes. And then retention. Now that you have them in, now how are you also retaining them? And so what type of things are you doing to keep them buying from you? All right, we talk about a customer, like the life cycle of a customer. Will it be a one-time customer, or are you creating systems where they're going to want to stay? They're going to want to stay with you for 5 years. And so now, what is that? Reoccurring income. And even if it's $30 that you're profiting from that customer, or $100 that you're profiting from that, imagine having thousands of customers, right? What type of systems are you putting in place? So we, whenever we even see our income going down, or we see where, okay, something isn't right, we go back to what are some of the daily deliverables. And those are, again, putting new people too, in front of the information. Yeah.
Such goodness. Again, we've gone into the second masterclass that you going to share with us, but such great nuggets. And I know we're talking about money, but I
Yeah.
also heard a lot about your faith, and I know you
Yeah.
talk about supernatural success. Can you
Yeah.
share what that means in the setting of the business building, MLM, and all the things?
Right. And I'll even say, because um outside of multi-level marketing, that's how we made our millions, but we're also real estate investors. So in addition to that, like, our net worth is in the multi-millions with real estate. Okay. And some things even around that, how we were able to secure some of our properties was very supernatural. And that was hearing the voice of God and moving on it. So when you hear me talk about supernatural, it's really when God begins to wave his hand on what you're already doing. So then with it comes greater favor. We like to use the word anointing, right? So is what you may not be able to do in all of your efforts, but you get it out of the way and you are allowing his hand to now move, his hand of grace, his hand of favor, and it will show up and it will be so undeniable. I think about the time when we hit our first million, which was 10 years ago. It was in 2015. I remember during the year prior, Dr. Marcia was in November. And the reason why I remember it so clear, because I was dreaming and I was like telling my husband, let's go out and let's look at some real estate. Let's look at some properties. During that time, we had $65,000 in the bank saved. We were driving around, and the reason why I remember the time so well because it was Christmas. The people had on their Christmas lights. It was at the end of November 2014. We'd only had $65,000 in the bank. And by the next May, which was, what is that, about 7 months away, right? There was over $1 million in the bank. That was supernatural. That was a supernatural move. Our business grew so fast. The sales were coming in, the people were coming in. We couldn't hardly keep up. But as I look back at that time, that was a supernatural movement that take place because typically that's not normal.
Correct.
And guess what we did?
What?
During that time, we went and we purchased our first home, which was $500,000, and we purchased it debt free.
I love that. First of all, congratulations. You said multi-million dollar earning, which I don't want anybody to get past that, right? But
Yeah.
then I also had the privilege of seeing, because you reposted some of those pictures recently
Oh,
of
yeah.
that house build.
And
And
that was another home. That was our
oh,
recent home.
oh
Yeah,
wow.
and then that was our $2.6 million home, which was also paid for in cash.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
I think that's the one that
beautiful.
you saw. Yeah.
And I remember you saying that you had to move out of some places coming up. You talked about food stamps, you talked about, WIC and all the kind of things, but won't God do it?
Oh my goodness, he will.
Won't he do it? And
He
so
he will. He
I
will.
want to have you speak to women because I know you have a heart for women, but in
Yeah.
terms of building wealth God's way, what are some of the principles that you have found to be true in terms of building wealth God's way?
For one, I have lived my faith out loud, and there is no compromise. So with business, oftentimes we'll hear, don't put your faith and your business together. For me, I don't know any other way to do it because it was him. And according to his word, it is he that giveth thee the power to get wealth, that his covenant will be established, right? According to his word in Deuteronomy 8 and 18. And when I study that word power, that word also means ability. That word also means strength. I remember there was a time when I went into prayer and I felt God like on my back. And I know that that means strength. And I said, what are you doing? And he says, I am sending you back in the marketplace and I am going to give you the strength to do it. Guess what that also meant? Ability, and it meant power, right? And so as long as I can remember with my journey with being online, building a business, there has always been an open display of my faith. And that's one of the things that I have taught, that I will not compromise. If they don't want to follow me anymore because I'm so out loud with my faith, then that is fine, because there are people who will do it. And I personally believe that it is also an attractive piece and an attraction, because then you see a person that is authentic with who they are. I'm not trying to shove anything down anybody's throat, but I'm also not going to deny who he is in my life for somebody else's opinion. Right. And so as I've built, and even as I coach many women, because so many women come to me that they're very afraid. And I said, what are you afraid of? Just do it. Just be her. Talk about him. And don't make any apologies about who you are in him. And one thing that he clearly showed me, and this was years ago, my husband and I, we was walking down the aisle. This was during that down place before the millions hit. And I remember us going to the store that day, and he went on the aisle to get eggs. And I said, well, let me go and get some bread. We only had about $5 and some change to our account. I will never forget that day. I am on one of the aisles. I could cry right now as I feel this thing. I'm on one of the aisles and I feel God's presence. And we are in the grocery store. Our kids are back at home, ready to eat breakfast. This was before we made a decision. We said we're going to have to get some food stamps because this is just, it's bad, it's low. And when I felt God's presence on the aisle that day, as I was going to get the bread and he was going to get the eggs, or vice versa, I stopped in the middle of that grocery store and I said, God, what are you saying? And he said, I am your source. He said, I am your source. And I remember that day just feeling proud that no matter how it looked, where we may be, how difficult it may feel, I'm going to stand that you are my source because you said that I am. And so when he began to elevate us, and when he began to restore us, and when the finances started to come in, and we started paying off homes and cars debt free, and we were a blessing to our family, and we were able to provide shelter for some of our family members who didn't even have shelter. And even tomorrow, we are about to go and help Greg's mother with the food bank that she has, where she gives back to the community food, fresh fruits and vegetables and canned items and breads and things, so that they can also put food in their refrigerator and even in their pantry. And she does this because that's what she has. She have a community of hope center. But guess what, Dr. Marcia? My husband and I was able to pay for that building cash, a whole community center, right, in Enfield, North Carolina. And it reminded me of that moment when I was in that grocery store, when God said, I am your source. So I can't share that. Who am I not to? I have to share that. And so that's one of the reasons why I continue to live out loud with my faith. And I will continue to share and also let the people know that you can be multifaceted, you can be multidimensional. So not only can you have faith and you can pray, but then you can also pay for something. You can say, let me take it, let me write the check, to be able to do that, because the word also says that money answereth all things. And in order for us to be impactful, in order for us to do great things in the earth, we also have to have the resources to be able to do it. And for us, the resources have come because of diligence, hard work consistent to the vehicle that God has laid and put in front of us, and the path that He has allowed for us to walk in.
Woo! And the church said amen to that. I love it.
Amen.
And you look, you started off the segment saying that you were a stay-at-home mom.
Yes.
And I can let you know that you are the atypical stay-at-home mom, right? Right? How how did you build 7+ figures and still take care of the home and doing both in excellence? How does a stay-at-home mom do that?
You know, when I look back, it was so much grace. I promise you, it was nothing but by the grace of God, because there were days during my early years when I started out, I bring their toys, their little books, and I put them right beside me with my laptop and my phone. So while they would be right with me for a few hours, I would begin to work and they were right there with me. And then during lunch, I spend that time clean up the house, prepare dinner. And then when they took their naps after lunch, I was working until my husband would then come home. When he came home, there was a hot meal on the table. Right now, he doesn't get that. Now we're like, we working together. Like he's like when we hit millionaire status right now, he's home. So I've not worked a job in, oh God, it's been 18 years. He's not worked the job in 10 years.
Wow,
Right. Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So he left corporate America in 2015. And for me, it was 2007. Right. So like 18 years ago. But and then at night, there would be some family time. And then after that, work, for an hour or so. Meaning making connections, and then get back up the next day and start it again. But I did what a lot of people just won't do. And so this is one of the things that my husband will oftentimes tell our son-in-law, because our firstborn daughter, she's married with her own family. Like, you do what you have to do until you do what you want to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so it was a balance in that, and juggling that. Sometimes things just didn't get done, right? Sometimes, the clothes may not have been washed properly or piled up. And then sometimes it's like, come on, everybody, let's pitch in. Let's come on and get the clothes done. So little things too that we will also do, because we are a large family where everybody could put their hands in and kind of help ease some of the things as we were building, or shall I say, even as I was building.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very empowering, encouraging. So here on Boss Business Strategies, this is for entrepreneurs who are looking to scale to their first million. And one of my favorite parts of the show is to ask you, what was that $1 million moment? Meaning, what was that pivotal thing, that thought, that action, that event that now led to that first million?
Yep. We talked about this today. It's so interesting that you would ask that question. And I'm glad that it is something that I could just spit out without having to think about. And so in our business, in many other businesses, right, can be parallel to this. We have what is called presentations. Most people don't want to do them. That is just showing the plan, showing new people what it is that we offer. And then as you show the people, a certain percentage of them will say yes. So it's a numbers game. And that's really all business is math and getting a certain amount of people in front of it. For us, we did what was called presentations, and we did 5 to 7 a day. My husband would come home from work, and I'm so glad that I can share this, because oftentimes people will say, well, you both are doing it, you're not working. Well, at that time, he was working. I was home during the day, working the business. And then even at night, there were times when he would come home from work and into the office he went. He wouldn't even go to the bathroom. He would go into the office and we would get on the phone or in on a on a meeting and start presenting. And we was doing 5 to 7 a night. And then on weekends, we were at somebody's church or inside of their home presenting the opportunity. And 6 months later, when we looked up, we had hit millionaire status. And so that was, yes. So that's what we even train and tell our team, even today. And it is, again, about getting people in front of your plan, your business over and over and over again. Yeah.
No, that is amazing. Just and what do you think is the hesitancy? You said some people don't want to do the presentation. What do you think that's about?
I think it has to do with, successes in the mundane. It's boring. It doesn't, it's so simple that people don't think that that may possibly be the way, right? And it can be boring, but that's what pays off the homes. You're right. That cat debt free. That's what allows us to go to places like we went to Bali this year, all the way around the world. Now that was an earned trip, right? But we still had to put in the work to even earn that trip.
Right.
And it's like a Bali. Come on now, right? We've gone to Santorini, Greece, Rome, Italy, various islands in the Caribbeans. We went to Jamaica like 7 times. Have gone to Punta Cana, Belize, Maui, Hawaii. Right, we're going back in a few months. But it was the presentations, putting people in front of the information over and over and over again. So again, and then I'm gonna say this, and then I'll kind of peel back. Whether it's lead generation, list building, sending text messages. Now there's reels. Okay, you're doing the reels, your stories, posting ads. You are meeting with franchise owners or CEOs with different large companies to get your products in front of the people. Like, it is you setting up presentations. It is about you putting eyes in front of what it is that you have. And when you do it over and over and over and over and over and over, right? When people are sleeping, when people are looking at TV, when people are doing what people do, right? When people are not even thinking about your product, when people are out and about, you are putting people in front of what it is that you have to offer. And again, when you keep doing that, something will break. Something, it's inevitable. It will happen. Something will move, something will change, something will take off. We've seen it.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
seen it.
Yes. Such good information. So as we close, I want you to kind of share. I don't know if you have a word for this year or for this season. If you could just drop one last nugget and
Yeah.
what that means to you. Take it
I
away.
do. I do. Thank you for asking me that. I really believe that for this season, we are in goal time. There are different seasons, and sometimes God will say, wait or not yet. But I feel this with every fiber of my being. So, whatever it is that He has called your hands to do it in with your might, do it in your power, do it with diligence, and do it with excellence. And you will see your rewards will come to you. You're going to see yourself rewarded. So that's the word and the message that I have, because I could feel it around so many people. It's go time. And it is really time for you to show up in the boldness, the confidence, and the authority that I know that you can show up with.
Yes.
Shine because somebody else needed.
Yes, I love that. I frequently say, let's go.
Oh, wow.
And that means it's go time. And so that resonates with me so much. Dr. Lenika Scott, thank you for sitting with me today and delivering the gems that you have just dropped into the atmosphere, into our spirit, into our hearts, and into our businesses. So I want you just to hold on tight real quick. I am going to this is Dr. Marcia, and this has been Boss Business Strategies. Thank you for hanging out with us and Dr. Lenika Scott. I want you to follow me on all social media platforms. And also, you can go to my website at drmarcia.com, and you can follow us here on YouTube, where we air every first Friday at noon. And you can also watch the replays. Until next time, bye bye.